Hey, what's up? So the other day I beat Stage 6 Mammon on the high-risk anomaly commissions at level 60, and I was just going to upload the video as is as a showcase. But then I realized I needed some amount of explanation, so I thought, why not just do a video breakdown or a sort of guide kind of thing to the fight? So yeah, that's what this is. If you just want to watch the unedited version of the fight without me yapping over it, then feel free to skip to the end of the video, because I'll just put that there. Before we get into it, I do plan on beating all of the high-level anomaly commissions, and doing similar videos in the future, so subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Okay, so first things first, I'm using Lacrimosa's base skill and not Tomato Devil or any of the other meta skills, and that's not just because I'm using Scorch. If I was using any other reaction, I would still just use her base skill. So why am I doing that? The TLDR answer is that her base skill is just so good. It's instant cast and instant damage, meaning as soon as I see damage numbers, I can swap characters, I can dodge, or I can use her ult, and most importantly, I can stay on Lacrimosa and I don't have to swap off. It's not just a matter of I want to be DPSing on her, it's I want to be DPSing and dodge countering as much as possible on her, because her dodge counters hit very hard. A large chunk of the break and damage in this fight is from her dodge counter. Now you could perfectly time and plan out the fight. In that case, yes, Tomato Devil would be better, but I'm not smart enough to do that, so here we are.
I'm a potato.
You're tomato.
Potato?
No.
Another question you may have is, why am I not using her ranged attacks, or why am I not dodge canceling her basic attacks to maximize DPS? And the answer to that is, the fight gets really squirrely at the end, and I want to focus on what Mammon is doing. After 2 minutes, Mammon gives a debuff that drains you down to 20% HP, and at that point, most of the attacks will one-shot you. I'm sure at level 70 this becomes less of an issue, but at level 60 it's just so much better to just focus on survival. So that being said, let's get into the fight. I start on Lacrimosa and do 2 dashes to get closer to the fight, because sometimes if you just swap to Adler, it doesn't count, like you're not in combat yet or something. So I do the 2 dashes, swap to Dadler, use his ult then skill, Daffy Doyle, ult then skill, or sorry, ult R then skill, then Sakiri, ult, then skill, then swap back to Lac. Ult, then skill, then do her basic 5. The main reason I do it in this order is because this usually, if I do it right, lines up with Mammon's first attack. And I can do a buffer dodge and dodge counter the attack. You still have to learn the timing and the tell, both of which are very subtle and hard to get right. Most of my resets were within the first 30 seconds as I was learning the fight, so don't feel bad if you have to do the same. And if you don't have these characters, I can just explain how the attack works and you can figure out your own setup for this that works for you. What he does is a long charge up, and then he looks down and to the left. Once his back arches up, he will then do an attack. Now, he does do a growl to indicate that he's going to do the attack, but usually you're using skills and ults and stuff, and it messes with the timing on that, so you can't rely on it. You just have to watch for his back to kind of arch up, and as soon as it starts arching up, you can do two dashes to get away, and counter the last one. One trick to learning the fight is to stand still and just try to get the dodge counters on everything. That way you can learn when to DPS and when to be careful. You won't get it clear doing this, but you will learn the fight, so just stand perfectly still, don't DPS, and just watch the cat. Okay, after his first attack, you have a few seconds to DPS, then Mammon will start to do a turn to the left, then he will do a tail swipe. This one's easy to avoid, just watch for the turn. What I'm doing here and throughout the fight is dodging towards Mammon. If you dodge away, then sometimes your dodge counter attack won't hit him because you're too far away. So you usually want to dodge into Mammon or dodge towards him. Sometimes you don't. It gets confusing, but if you want to play it safe, you can just always dodge away. But if you want to maximize DPS, you most of the time want to dodge towards him. Next is Mammon's dash attack. He hunches down on all fours and then growls just before the attack, so it's pretty easy to avoid, and once again, for this one, you want to dodge towards him. Doing this here will also line you up so that you're close to or standing on the circle. You can then dodge counter out and deal extra damage. Next attack is Mammon's jump. Honestly, this is the easiest one to avoid once you get the timing right. You just have to learn the timing. But yeah, once you get it, it's really easy to avoid. And if you want to maximize DPS for this attack, you want to dash to the side. That way you can line up where the circles are spawning in. Mammon then does another dash, and then another jump attack. And at this point, the Esper gauge should be getting close to full if you've been DPSing him enough. So I immediately swap to Sakiri to refresh the Scorch. If you don't feel comfortable here doing a full rotation swap, then just swap to Sakiri, then back to Lacrimosa, and then dodge, because sometimes, if you don't have the timing quite right on everything, basically every time you're swapping back to Lacrimosa, you want to dash. Sometimes you can proc a dodge counter doing this, which I'll talk about in just a second. It's still just safe. Like, if you don't know what's going on in the fight, just swap to Sakiri, then swap back to Lacrimosa and dash. That way you're hopefully avoiding most of the damage. Now, if you're feeling froggy, you can try to do what I like to call a black flash. Yes, I'm a weeb. What that is swapping to Daddler, then skill, quick swap to Daffy, skill, quick swap to Lacry, into a dodge counter, all within about 2 seconds, as I do right here. The reason I call it a black flash is because it feels really freaking good when you land it, and it gets me pretty hyped up. I was so hyped right here that after landing this one, I got so distracted that I immediately got hit by the next attack. And the attack that I got hit by was the jump back attack. Mammon hunches forward a bit and then jumps backwards. This is one of the more difficult attacks to get the timing on, so you just have to practice it and not get distracted like I did. Mammon then does another jump into his frenzy attack. The jump is the same as the other jump, so just do it the same way you do that one. For the frenzy attack, Mammon will growl, then swing a bunch of times. What you want to do for this is dodge, then counter, then dodge, then counter, then dodge, then counter, then wait, then dodge, then counter. About that same cadence. You can do 2 dashes in a row at the last part in order to buffer instead of doing the waiting if you feel more comfortable doing that. It's up to you, really. Alright, after that, Mammon does his big stretchy boy attack. He does a small growl just before the strike, so it's easy to avoid, just don't panic. You can also run behind him or to the side if you just don't want to deal with this attack. There's a couple attacks you can do that on, and this is one of them. Okay, next is Mammon's short charge attack. This is like the attack from the start of the fight, except instead of doing a long charge, he does a short charge. Short charge attack. Now for this attack, you should not do what I'm doing. Don't swap to other characters, just stand still and learn the timing before you try to squeeze in more DPS, because this is a confusing one. The timing on it is faster than it feels like it should be, and you just have to learn when it is. He does a growl beforehand, but I can't show you here because I'm trying to squeeze in extra DPS, but keep in mind he does a growl and then you dash out, or dash twice to be safe. Or once again, you can just run away from this attack. It's an AoE around him, so if he starts charging and you want to play it safe, just run away. Which I actually do later in the fight. After the short charge attack, you have a small DPS window, and this is the perfect time to swap and use everybody's ults and skills. And he should also be getting close to his first break at this point, unless you've been struggling to DPS, or in which case that'll be a little bit harder for you, but he should be getting close anyway. Now during this break, I'm not trying to do any meta DPS rotations, I'm just mashing buttons and thinking. I'm looking at everyone's health, I'm looking at the boss health, I'm looking at the timer. Sure, doing a proper meta rotation would be more DPS, but knowing what's going on is a lot better. So every time there's a break, I'm just thinking about the situation. After his first break, it's important to note that Mammon can mix up what he does. Like, the first half is basically a fight on rails, but the second half can be more random. So you just have to learn all of his attacks and how to avoid them. Also, there are some new attacks, so good luck with that, f***er. Just kidding, I don't know why I called you a f***er. Alright, Mammon's next attack is his swiper attack. He does a small growl, then swipes in an AoE in front of him. It's very similar to the jump back attack, so if you have the timing on that, this shouldn't be that hard. Alright, another jump back attack, then his first parry circle. Now, if you're not comfortable parrying, then remember, all of his attacks have a limited range. So you can just run away from the danger zone if you don't feel safe, like I tried to do here, but I still got hit a little bit. Alright, this attack is basically the same as his short charge attack, except he summons circles instead. I wasn't sure which one it was, the short charge or the circle charge attack, so I just waited for the growl, then dodged, but it wasn't like the right one, so kept attacking, then dodged out and tried to proc the dodge counter. Now Mammon's jump attacks will sometimes spawn expanding circles after he hits. They're pretty easy to avoid. Just dodge counter his jump and then do 2 dashes in a row, and the first one buffers the second one, so the second one should be a perfect dodge and you should be able to get a dodge counter. Okay, for this jump, I wasn't sure about the timing since I ulted midway through, so I decided just to play it safe and dash away.
Security, stay safe.
Alright, now he does another long charge attack. Except this time, unlike the one from the start of the fight, he does a small growl, and if you just dodge twice, it should, the first one should buffer the second one, and you should get another dodge counter, and be able to avoid damage. Alright, so going forward, most of these attacks are ones we've already seen, so I'm just going to shut up for a little bit.
Selfless, formless.
This one wasn't as clean as the first one because I messed up Dadler's skill, but I do land another Black Flash here, so humble brag.
Stay there.
All thousands eyes, awaken!
Shift change.
Security, stay in line.
Alright, and here we have his second circle parry attack. This is the ground parry attack, and the one he did before was when he dashes through the air. The difference is if you don't parry the ground attack, he does 2 follow-up attacks. And if you do parry it, he does 1 big stretchy boy attack, but this time it's with his left hand. But it works basically the same as his stretchy boy attack. And here's one with the 2 follow-up attacks, which almost got me killed. Alright, so the fight timer starts at 5 minutes, and once it reaches 2 minutes, then breaks can no longer stun him. So you really want to play more aggressive and push the second break before the timer reaches 2 minutes. Also, once you break him the second time, you get a helper. The helper is random, and they will also auto-parry any of the circle parry attacks. I got Edgar, which, honestly, he's not bad for this fight in particular. For other fights, maybe he isn't that great, but on this one, the extra healing isn't that bad.
I'll support you as much as I can.
Security.
Alright, the last new attack is the Frisbee attack. It's a charge beam, but the attack looks like he's got a Frisbee in his mouth, so I call it the Frisbee attack. The timing on this one is very tricky, and he doesn't do it often enough for you to get good practice. I honestly don't even try to get the dodge counter on this one. I just run behind him, because it's just safer. It's not worth playing aggressive this late in the fight, honestly.
I won't let you. May you find eternal peace.
I got it. A bruiser, hang in there.
safe. Comprehend.
Nowhere to hide.
Leave it to last a month.
Yeah, so I just got the timing wrong and ended up losing Lacrimosa here during this Frenzy attack. I'm actually glad that things got very messy at the end here, just so you can see how fast everything falls apart when you're not careful. I actually had a pretty decent recovery, but then I entered full panic mode here, but was still able to get the clear. Alright, so as I show my stats, I just wanted to take the time to say, don't do this at level 60. Part of the fun of playing an RPG is leveling up your characters, getting stronger, and beating up monsters that used to give you a hard time. So, unless you specifically want to challenge yourself, then don't bother doing this. You only get like 30 thingies for doing these anyway, so honestly it's just not worth it. Just go level your characters. Anyway, that's all I got, so follow me on Bagel and subscribe if you want to see me beat up the strongest plant in NTE.
What do you want? If you're that free, go buy me the latest
Rest first. May you find eternal peace.
Take care. Thousand eyes, awaken!
Mike! Watch your step! Lacrimosa. Stay there. Lacrimosa. I'll go home early today. Watch out, fool!
Securities. Everything that forms unreal. This
Nowhere to hide.
Leave it to Lacrimosa.
security. Stay comprehend.
Lacrimosa can handle it. Lacrimosa, angry. Over here. Watch your step.
Security. Stay safe.
Lacrimosa. Dodge the mouse. Lacrimosa.
Selfless, formless.
Dodge the mouse. Lacrimosa. Stay there.
All thousand eyes, awaken!
Shift change.
Get it!
Security, stay in line.
Lacrimosa can handle it. Touch the moon.
I'll support you as much as I can.
Taking off.
Security.
Lacrimosa. Angry. Achoo.
I won't let you May you find eternal peace.
Smoke is breathing me. Watch out! Oh.
I got it. A bruiser. Hang in there.
Go.
Security, stay safe. Comprehend.
Nowhere to hide.
Leave it to Lacrimosa.
A bruiser. Hang in there.
Lacrimosa, step.